Want to talk Lions and Jared Goff here for just a minute. Brant, I don't know if you saw Brad Holmes in an interview recently. I think it might have been today or yesterday, talking about getting a deal done for Jared Goff. Sounds like a deal is imminent. I mean, I don't think it's going to surprise anybody when a deal gets done. Doesn't make financial sense for them to toss the franchise tag on him. I don't. I mean, I'm sure there's a pocket of Lions fans that are out there that are still, I want to say, anti Jared Goff, but still are like, like I don't know about, giving Jared Goff $50 million. Like, I know that there's a crowd out there that feels that way, and I want to talk about that because um, he's totally, like, if you were to rewind this podcast a year ago today, I was singing a very different tune. And I think a lot of people were. I think that Jared Goff has been building his confidence in Detroit for these last two seasons in particular, or season and a half, if you want to argue that. But here we are now on the coming off of a NFC Championship appearance, 30 minutes away from a Super Bowl. They didn't lose because of Jared Goff. I want to know where you're at with this, Brant. So it will not surprise me here over the next month or two when this deal gets done. I want to know your comfort level, though, because I think people need to start letting this sink in a bit. Are you comfortable? And not forget the money, whether it's 45 or it's 50 or 55 million. I want to remind people the market is ever changing, right? And so Patrick Mahomes right now, I believe he's making like 45 million. But when he got that deal, it was like, whoa, the largest deal of all time. And then, these guys continue. Joe Burrow, I believe, was the next one. And then Justin Herbert. And so these guys are getting paid. And 2 years down the road, you pay Jared Goff he's on a $50 million a year contract. It's not going to look or sound as crazy as it may right now for some people. But clearly, guys are getting paid, right? Like, this is the next phase of of where the Lions are at. They're paying their guys, right? Penei Sewell got paid. Amon-Ra St. Brown got paid. Jared Goff is going to get paid very soon. And look, you may be a year or two out of making Aiden Hutchinson the highest paid edge rusher in the NFL. Like, that will not surprise me. And it's a credit to the guys that Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions have brought in, but it's just the reality. There's going to be decisions that are going to have to be made, but none is more important than the quarterback. And so, Brant, I guess what I want to know from you is, what are you comfortable with? Like, what feels good to you? You can toss a number out there if you want, but really, timeline-wise, Jared Goff is 29 years old. I'm going to guess that it's going to be a 4-year deal. I don't know. But what does that feel like to you 4 years from now, knowing that Jared Goff is your guy and you're locked up? And does Hendon Hooker ever play a role in any of this? Or do you feel like this is the direction? Like, once this deal is made, Jared Goff is the guy. And how do you feel about that?
Dave, I have no problem with Jared Goff being the guy, and I don't think Lions fans in general have a problem with Jared Goff being the guy. I think the main question that I want to ask right now is, what's the rush? Why is Brad Holmes getting out in front of this year? He's under contract this year. He's set to make, like, I think it's like in the ballpark of 30 some million this year. Why are we rushing to sign Jared Goff, Dave? We know that he's going to be the quarterback this year. He needs to be the quarterback this year. He has to take this franchise and be the guy this year. What's stopping Detroit right now from saying, "Hey, Jared, we love you. You're our guy. We want to ride this out this year." I know that doesn't sit well probably with him and his representation, but this is a business, right? And I don't think Jared Goff is the guy that's going to hold out. So why are you just unloading the bankroll right now? Like, if you think that this is going to be the guy for the next 5 years, that doesn't sit well with me. I'm not sure that he is the guy for the next 5 years. So I think the question is, why are you not playing this year out? And why are you giving him the extension right now?
I think it's a major roll of the dice, though, man. Like, if they don't get a deal done, I mean, I'm looking at his stats from last year right now. Completed 67% of his passes, 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 picks. We talked about this past year. Now, hold on just a second. It's a lot easier to get worse at quarterback in the NFL than it is to get better. You could read the bottom half of starters in the NFL, and it's not pretty. It's not good at all. Gardner Minshew is a starting quarterback this year, competing with Aiden O'Connell out for the Raiders. So there's that. My concern would be you let this play out. I guess. What does Jared Goff have left to prove? He hasn't won a Super Bowl, okay, sure, but he's done everything you've asked him to do. He is. He's works for this offense. He brought you to an NFC Championship. He's played really well. I think
Matthew Stafford played really well.
But Brant, I think you have to get a deal done now because this price tag, in my opinion, is only going to go up. Unless you feel truly like he's going to get worse from this year or the bottom's about to fall out. And then, yeah, I guess you roll the dice, but I don't see how that's possible in Allen Park right now for them to feel that way about Jared Goff. Like, he hasn't given them a reason to think that this last year and a half is just some sort of fluke. Like, he's an ascending quarterback right now, and I know he's 29 years old.
Is that who Jared Goff is, though? Is he an ascending quarterback? That's who he is. I mean, we have 8 years of Jared Goff, and we have 2 really good years of Jared Goff, and you have 6 very mediocre years of Jared Goff. So what is he?
I think that he is. He's never going to be Brant. He's never going to be Patrick Mahomes. He's never going to be Josh Allen. He's not the mobile quarterback. He's a pocket passer. He's a glorified game manager.
And you want to pay him for 5 more years?
I think you have to. I'm not running to the table to say Jared Goff is the guy and he's going to be the MVP 3 years from now.
No, I guess my question was: Is he extension worthy right now? Why would
I think he is?
You don't want to see him play this year without a contract extension.
No, I think you absolutely have to get a deal done. I guess I want to know from you why you feel like, what is your pause for concern right now with giving Jared Goff, let's just call it 4-year, $200 million contract. What worries you about that?
There's nothing that really terribly concerns me, Dave. I mean, I just don't know why you're rushing to do it, is my point. If you're going to do it, just do it next offseason, and you want to give him the Kirk Cousins 4 years, $200 million deal at that point, and maybe it's $210 million then. But you give him $50 million at the signing, you give him another $50 million in this, what?
You think that they don't get this deal done and he has just as good of a season as last year or better, and you think the culture is so good right now in Detroit, he's coming back no matter what? Because I don't think that's a done deal. I don't.
You think Jared Goff would,
I think
you think he would sit
you're
out?
majorly rolling the dice. Why wouldn't he?
I mean, you don't think this could be? You don't think Jared Goff's ceiling is Kirk Cousins in Minnesota?
It very well could be. But you know what, Brant? Kirk Cousins was pretty good in Minnesota. What do you want me to say to that? There's a lot of teams that would have liked to have Kirk Cousins over those years. I'm not saying that these guys are like the game-changing type of quarterbacks, but Brant, how many of those are there in this league truly?
There's like 5.
You know, it's like there is.
So you're locking yourself up to not be in the top 5. You know that for sure. Instead of maybe going out and maybe getting your guy that you think could be top 5. Do you think they think that Hendon Hooker potentially could be that guy?
If they do, then I hold off. That's the big question. Hendon Hooker, he's an older quarterback, a quarterback that I love. You know that, like, out of Tennessee, I know you liked him too. You spend like a 3rd round pick on him. If they feel that way, sure. But Brant, we have no evidence of that right now. No, we're not in Allen Park every day to see these guys work out and practice. But I just think if you don't lock up Jared Goff, who is your quarterback in 2025? Maybe it's him. That's a big maybe.
I don't know if you need to have that answer right now, is I guess what I'm saying. I don't think 2025 is a major concern for this thing. I think 2024 is exactly, you need to be where your feet are, and you need to get you need to have Jared Goff understand that this is his team. You're under contract for another year. The contract extension will do that maybe during the season. I don't know. But I think giving him the 5 years right now, unless it is very front loaded. I mean, do you think he's going to just accept that too? Here's 50 million for a signing bonus. Here's 50 million a year, but in the back end, we can cut you after, or I guess release you or trade you, and then someone else is going to have to pick up your 25 million a year after that. I
Could
mean,
be could
do
be
you
an
think?
incentive based on the back half too. Yeah.
And I don't. You think he's just going to sign up? I think that's what's holding a lot of this up right now. Anyway, is probably the Lions are looking to do something to that effect of front heavy, and then if we need to cut you on the back end, we're not going to be stuck paying the bill for you, like how the Broncos got stuck with Russell Wilson. They're going to be paying him gobs of money for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So uh,
That,
if
they
I'm
absolutely will be. You're
if
right.
and maybe Jared Goff says, I don't want to sign it right now because it doesn't look good in 2025 for me and in 2026 for me. But I would guess that's what's holding it up. Is that what you think is holding it up?
Could yeah, I think there's probably a couple of things. That's probably one of them. Hey, look, right now, everybody tuned in, like, follow, subscribe here to the Garage Takes channel. Want to make sure you do that. Hop into the comments. I want you to let us know what you think. This past episode, just got to shout out a couple of YouTubers that commented on our stuff. Brent6437 got a new subscriber, said, great show, guys. I never saw you guys before, but I just subscribed. Detroit's proven it's a great place to be. Connor McPhillips, 4468, says he's thanking the algorithm for putting us in his feed. We appreciate you, brother. And J Mommy 881 said she's never seen us before, but she says, hey, you guys talk Lions and football. I'm absolutely subscribing. So we appreciate you guys interacting with us in the comments, and we're trying to hop in and join you guys in any type of debate or just some friendly banter back and forth. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Brant, my last question to you is this on the Jared Goff thing. What else do you need to see him do this next year for you to not feel the way you do right now? Because right now I feel hesitancy from you.
It's nothing about what can he do this year. I mean, he could win the Super Bowl in 2024, Dave. I just said he needs to be the quarterback in 2024. There's no doubt about it. And so my hope for him is that he does go to the Super Bowl and they win the Super Bowl. But I don't think there's anything that leads me to believe that he's ever going to be a continual top 10 quarterback in this league. I don't think he's got the Matthew Staffordness to go the next 5 years and be a top 10 quarterback in this league. I don't think he has that in him. And I think he's always going to be on the outside of the top 10. And if that's okay with Lions fans, that they want to have a quarterback that they're locked into for the next 4 years, that he's never going to be in the top 10. I think he may be number 10 right now, but guys that didn't make the top 10 this year, according to Pro Football Focus, Dave, guys like Joe Burrow, you have a feeling that he's going to sneak back in there, right? Justin Herbert was at 12. He's probably going to sneak back in there. So I just don't see it from Jared Goff going to command these types of numbers. I understand the offense is tailored for him. I watch the Lions every week. I understand what he is, but I don't think that you need to tie yourself down for the next 4 or 5 years, just specifically with Jared Goff. Definitely got to be this year.
Last thing, I'm just looking at the top 10 quarterbacks in terms of their cap hits this upcoming year. Just some names out there. Russell Wilson, you use that as an example. That's an ugly one, almost 50 million. Bad. I'd rather have Jared Goff over Russell Wilson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kyler Murray, give me Jared Goff. He's at 46 mil. Deshaun Watson, 46 mil. Kirk Cousins, 45. I mean, those are what I just named, like 4. That's 4 right there. I didn't name Justin Herbert, rising quarterback, great quarterback, better quarterback than Jared Goff, probably. Jared Goff's proven more. I mean, Jared Goff's played in a Super Bowl, played in an NFC championship. You know what?
Sure, but you're not gonna. If you're picking a team, you're not taking Jared Goff over Justin Herbert.
True. That is true. However, if you're the Lions, Justin Herbert is not your quarterback right now. Jared Goff is. So look,
but that's what I'm saying is maybe you're the next step away from. And I think Atlanta is a great example of this. You sign Kirk Cousins, and I'm saying maybe Detroit does that as well with Jared Goff, and then maybe next year's draft or the draft after that, you go get your Michael Penix at number 8. The more I think about what Atlanta did, all they're doing is covering their bases. You know what I mean? Like, Kirk Cousins is not tied to them outside of this year and next year for the guaranteed money. So they can flip him in the next 26 and 27. They have no ties to Kirk Cousins, basically. So it's just a matter of what the Lions think their future looks like. And I don't think it's 5 years of Jared Goff. Now, you want to talk about is Kyler's contract worse? Yeah, it's really bad. Deshaun's contract is really bad. You know whose contract isn't really bad? Brock Purdy. Another example of maybe a guy you can go draft and he becomes the guy.
Maybe. I mean, come on, bro. That Mr. Irrelevant, how often do those guys come around? I hear what you're saying, but
Okay.
come on. That's a major dice roll.
Dak Prescott, top 10 quarterback in the league, third round pick. Jalen Hurts taking number 50.
Dak Prescott's about to get 55, 60 million a year. I mean, truthfully.
I know, and I'm just saying there are guys out there in the future that you can grab that you don't have to be tied to Jared Goff, so your ceiling is Jared Goff-esque.
Hey, agree to disagree. That's okay. That's what this is for. I love it. Like, follow, subscribe, jump in on those comments. Let us know what you think, guys.